In this week's video, we'll be taking a look at what we call alveolar affricate sounds. So alveolar, we took a look at some alveolar sounds in last week's video. So this involves this area here of our mouth, usually involving the tip of our tongue coming up to that area. So we're using our alveolar ridge with a lot of these sounds. An affricate is a sound that starts off as a glottal stop. So we have a glottal stop. So this is our glottis here. And usually a glottal sound, a glottalized sound, involves us closing our vocal cords. That's called a glottal stop. That's how an affricate starts. It starts off being a glottal stop, and then it becomes what's called an affricate. So glottal stop to, well, actually affricative, that's what I meant to say. An affricative sound is produced when you close certain parts of your vocal tract, make them smaller. That causes the air to vibrate in a very unique manner. So when we talk about affricates, we're talking about something that starts off as a glottal stop, becomes a fricative sound. So the letters we're going to take a look at here are the letter Z. The first one to start is Z. So in English, it works a little bit differently than it does in English. So if we take a look at the word ads in English, this Z sound comes from, starts off as kind of a D, and then it ends with a Z. So you're starting off with a glottal stop, duh. It's kind of like a glottal stop, duh. And then ending with Z, ads. The next letter is C. C is also quite different in xa'islak'ala than it is in English. So using an English word as an example of this sound, think of the word bits. So this C sounds more like a ts. It does sound a little bit different. Ts is kind of a sharper sound. But in the next series of videos, in the next stage, I'll talk about how this is different when I give you examples in xa'islak'ala. So C sounds more like ts. We also have a glottalized C. So we have a C with an apostrophe over top of it. And that's very similar to the ts sound, but it's more pronounced. So what we're doing is before we make the ts sound, we're kind of closing off our air supply, then we're forcing it out. We're putting more air out at one time. It makes it more forceful. Tss. So this is more of a kind of a softer sound. Tss. And this with the apostrophe over top of it is more forceful. Tss. And there's no real English equivalent for this, but it's like the C, but it's more forceful. There's more emphasis being placed on the ts sound. And then we have S. So I'm going to put S over here, because when we're making an S sound, what we're doing is we're taking our teeth. So these are our teeth here. So we're taking our teeth and we're not closing them completely, but we're closing them partly, and the air comes out. When it gets to the opening between your teeth, it's such a small opening that the air kind of bounces around. And that's what makes the S sound. So it makes kind of a hissing noise. And the word you can think of in English is the word sat, or Saturday. So those are alveolar affricate sounds. Next video, we'll take a look at alveolar lateral sounds. Wah.